Investing's super personal. It's your money on the line after all. What kind of investor are you? Well, keep watching, and by the end of this here video, you'll find out just that. Good day to you folks. Money Jim here, your money pal. When most folks get investing, they dive right in without first thinking about something real darn important. How much risk you prepared to take. See, your level of risk drives how much your investments go up and down by in the short term and how much they likely to go up by in the long run. But plenty of folks ain't even aware of the risk they taken or don't understand why risk is so darn important or don't really even know what risk is. If any of that applies to you, sunshine, click on this here video and come back once you're done watching it. Now, if you scratching your head about how much risk you should be taking, you ain't alone. But let's change that, shall we, sunshine? Let's figure out what kind of investor you are. So first off, go grab yourself a pen and paper. So here's how it's gonna work. We're gonna do this in two parts. That's because there's two sides to risk. How much risk you can afford to take and how much risk your nerves can take. Don't worry for now what that all means. I'll explain each one as we go. In just a sec, I'm going to ask you some questions. 4 for each part. Nothing tricky and there ain't no right or wrong. Depending on how you answer each question, you're going to get a score. At the end, you add them all up and that score is going to tell you what kind of investor you are. Got it? Then let's get going with part 1, your capacity for risk. Or in other words, how much risk you can afford to take. Now that might sound like rich folks can take more risk than not so rich ones, but it ain't like that. Because it ain't all about how much money you got, but how much time's on your side too, and how much your living standards could be affected if your investments drop. So, pen at the ready? Question 1. How long till you start taking money from your investments? Give yourself a 1 for less than 5 years, 2 for between 5 and 10 years, and 3 for more than 10 years. Question 2. Once you start taking money from your investments, how quickly you gonna take it all? Score 1 if you're gonna take it in less than 5 years, 2 between 5 and 10, or 3 more than 10 years. Question 3. How would you pay for something out of the blue that costs the same as 3 months of living expenses? You get a 1 if you'd have to take it all from your investments, 2 if you'd have to take some from your investments, or 3 if you wouldn't have to touch them at all. Question number 4. How much would your lifestyle be affected if your investments didn't work out like you hoped they would? Score 1 if you wouldn't be able to afford it no more, 2 if you'd have to make some cutbacks, or 3 if it wouldn't have no impact whatsoever. Now that's that part done. Add up all them scores. If you got somewhere between 10 and 12, you got a high capacity for risk. And that means you probably got plenty of time, flexibility, and money in reserve to invest in high risk, high return stuff. If you score between 7 and 9, your capacity of risk is in the middle. You should consider reeling in your level of investment risk. That's because you either ain't got as much time to recover from any investment drops, or you in for some financial pain if they do. If you got 6 or less, I hate to tell it to you, sunshine, you probably shouldn't be investing, at least not yet. You either ain't got enough time on your side to ride out them ups and downs in the market, or you ain't got enough room to maneuver when life throws you a curveball, or both. Now, if you scored a 7 or more, you can move on to the second part, which looks at your tolerance for risk, or as I like to put it, how much jumping up and down of your investments you can stomach. Question number 1. Would you put up with big ups and downs of your investments if it meant potentially high returns? Give yourself a 1 if it's no way Jose. 2 if you put up with some but not too much. Or 3 if you definitely would. Question 2. What's your thoughts on high-risk investments like stocks? You get a 1 if you think they're too risky. 2 if you'd be okay investing some money in them. Or 3 if for you, that's what investing's all about. Question 3. What's most important when it comes to investing? Score 1 if the most important thing to you is not losing money. 2 if it's a combo of growth and reducing risk. Or 3 if it's all about getting the highest returns possible. Question 4. How do you think you'd react if your investments dropped 20%? 1 if you'd sell them. 2 if you do nothing and wait for them to recover. Or 3 if you'd see it as an opportunity to buy more. That's it for part 2. Add them up again, and as before, if you got between 10 and 12, you've got a high risk tolerance. That means you've got the stomach to invest in stuff that could give you bigger gains in the long run, and you barely blink when your investments head south from time to time. Between 7 and 9 means you're a middle-of-the-road investor when it comes to your attitude to risk. Gain's still important to you, but you want to find that balance of decent enough returns without taking super high levels of risk. You know, drops are part and parcel of investing, but you're calm enough to hang in there while they recover. If you got a 6 or less, you probably want to stick to lower risk stuff and avoid investing much in things like stocks. You sure don't like seeing your investments going up and down like a yo-yo. Prefer slow and steady returns, even if it means giving up a fair chunk of potential gains. So there you have it, sunshine. If both your capacity and tolerance match up, then it's easy enough to figure out if you're a high, medium, or low risk investor. What if they're different? Well, this here table shows how much investment risk could be right for you. Notice the level never goes higher than your capacity for risk. That's because even though you might be able to stomach plenty of investment ups and downs, if your finances can, you can end up toast. Of course, if your capacity goes up by building a bigger emergency fund or investing for longer, for example, your overall investment risk can go up too. If you've got a high capacity for risk already, it don't mean you should invest in high risk stuff. It just means you can. You can still invest in low risk stuff if that suits you and your goals. There's a bit more wiggle room when it comes to risk tolerance, because with experience and a bit of understanding how investments and markets work, you can nudge yourself up a level. Again, that don't mean you gotta, but most times high risk investments like stocks go up more than lower risk investments like bonds in the long run. So by now you should have a good idea what kind of investor you are. Now it's time to go put that into action and invest at the level of risk that's right for you. See you next time, sunshine.